What if the most dangerous man in Britain was also its most misunderstood mystic? Aleister Crowley, poet, occultist, mountaineer, magician. To some, he was a prophet of a new age. To others, a madman lost in symbols. He spoke of true will, magic, and a world beyond good and evil. His teachings shaped secret societies, inspired rock stars, and echoed through New Age thought. But was he unveiling ancient truth or building a personal myth? In this short film, we descend into shadow and fire to find the man behind the sigils. This is Crowley. Born in 1875, Edward Alexander Crowley grew up in a world of privilege. The son of a wealthy industrialist, he had every opportunity open to him. He would attend Cambridge University, but by his own admission, he was a mediocre student, more interested in poetry and climbing than in classics. Soon, however, his grades would take a back seat to his extracurricular activities. For a while at Cambridge, Crowley joined a group of explorers and mountaineers, the Alpine Club, which had been founded over 60 years earlier. It was here that Crowley's thirst for the unknown would be ignited. Crowley soon became a keen climber, scaling the highest peaks across Europe with reckless abandon. He would even become the first man to climb the infamous chimney, a particularly difficult route up the Matterhorn. But Crowley's fascination with the mystical qualities of mountains was far from mere romanticism. You see, Crowley believed that mountains were portals to other dimensions, and he wasn't afraid to test his theories. On one occasion, after reaching the summit of a peak, he spread a blanket on the ground, intending to summon elemental beings known as the gnomes, who, according to his beliefs, inhabited the earth. As he lay on the ground, chanting and attempting to invoke these spirits, his companions grew increasingly agitated. They felt exposed, vulnerable, and ridiculous. But Crowley remained focused until suddenly he was interrupted by a gust of wind that extinguished his candle and scattered his books. Though he interpreted this as a sign of the gnome's presence, his companions saw it as nothing more than bad luck. Once again, Crowley's esoteric pursuits were dismissed as the flights of fancy of a privileged young man. But he wouldn't let this setback deter him. After graduating from Cambridge, Crowley delved deeper into the occult, forming his own secret society and writing extensively on topics like ceremonial magic and the nature of reality. And while his peers might have brushed off his mountaintop antics as youthful folly, they couldn't deny the impact of his writings. Crowley's ideas were radical, challenging conventional morality and religious doctrine. At the time, Victorian England was a society grappling with rapid industrialization and social change. Traditional values were being challenged, and many yearned for a sense of the mystical in an increasingly secular world. Crowley claimed that his teachings could provide just that, a way to connect with ancient wisdom and hidden realities. His words resonated with those who felt alienated by the constraints of Victorian society. Crowley's teachings can be found in several of his major works, such as the Book of the Law and the Book of Lies. These texts introduce concepts that were both shocking and alluring. One of the central tenets of Crowley's philosophy was the idea of true will, a concept he borrowed from astrology. In Crowley's view, each individual had a unique purpose or path laid out by the alignment of the stars at the moment of their birth. Discovering and following this true will was the key to spiritual growth and self-realization. He claimed that by aligning oneself with the stars, one could tap into a cosmic energy that would grant them extraordinary abilities and understanding. Of course, this was not the type of astrology that was popular at the time, which mainly focused on personality traits based on sun signs. Crowley was interested in a more complex form of astrology that took into account the positions of the planets and other celestial bodies at the time of a person's birth. By studying these alignments, he believed one could gain insights into their unique gifts, challenges, and ultimately their place in the grand scheme of the universe. This idea of true will appealed to many people who felt lost or unfulfilled in Victorian England. It offered a sense of direction and purpose in a rapidly changing world. Crowley's followers, often referred to as Aleisters, took this idea to heart. dedicating themselves to discovering and fulfilling their individual true wills. Some saw this as a call to action, a reason to break free from the constraints of society and forge their own paths. Others found solace in the belief that their place in the universe was predetermined, offering them comfort and guidance. But Crowley's teachings went far beyond astrology. He developed a system of magic that he called Thelema, which combined elements of ancient Egyptian rituals, Kabbalistic traditions, and his own unique philosophies. According to Crowley, magic was not about performing supernatural tricks, but about harnessing the power of the mind to shape reality. He believed that by understanding the laws of the universe and aligning oneself with them, one could achieve extraordinary feats. Crowley's interest in magic led him to explore themes of good and evil, challenging the traditional Christian morality of Victorian England. He argued that good and evil were not absolute, but rather subjective and relative. Instead of focusing on sin and salvation, he encouraged his followers to embrace all aspects of life, including those that were considered taboo. This idea of a world beyond good and evil was controversial, to say the least, but it also appealed to many who were questioning the rigid moral standards of their time. Crowley didn't limit his influence to books and lectures. He founded secret societies such as the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and the Astrum Argentum, which provided members with a sense of community and a framework for exploring the occult. These societies were shrouded in secrecy, adding to Crowley's enigmatic persona. Members of these societies, often referred to as Aleisters, took Crowley's teachings to heart, forming their own groups and spreading his ideas throughout Europe and America. Crowley's influence extended to various aspects of art and culture. His poetry was celebrated for its unconventional themes and imagery, while his knowledge of languages and cultures led him to incorporate elements from different traditions into his magical practices. He was also fascinated by music, believing that it could be a powerful tool for inducing altered states of consciousness. One notable example of Crowley's influence can be seen in the works of artist and writer Austin Osman Spare. Spare's art, which often depicted bizarre and unsettling scenes, was greatly influenced by Crowley's teachings, particularly his ideas on magic and the subconscious mind. Similarly, musician and mystic Kenneth Anger's films and music incorporated elements of Crowley's philosophy, creating a surreal and dreamlike atmosphere that was both captivating and controversial. These artistic expressions, though often controversial, demonstrate the far-reaching influence of Crowley's ideas. However, Crowley's notoriety did not come solely from his teachings and writings. His personal life, often exaggerated by the media, played a significant role in shaping his public image. Crowley's relationships with women, his use of drugs, and his association with other controversial figures contributed to the perception of him as a dangerous and scandalous individual. This reputation was further fueled by his willingness to court controversy, such as when he hosted a two-contact spirit of Adolf Hitler. Crowley's actions often pushed the boundaries of what was considered acceptable in Victorian England, leading to accusations of blasphemy, heresy, and even treason. These allegations, whether true or false, only served to make him more famous. Despite the controversies that followed him, Crowley's ideas continued to spread, particularly in America, where Thelema was adopted as a religion. His teachings found fertile ground among those seeking alternative spiritual and philosophical frameworks. Crowley's influence can still be seen today in various forms of popular culture, such as in the music of bands like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, as well as in films like The Devil Rides Out and Rosemary's Baby. His ideas have also found a place in contemporary discussions on gender and sexuality, with some arguing that Crowley's views on these topics were ahead of their time. When Edward Alexander Crowley died in 1947, he left behind a legacy that was both influential and controversial. His ideas on magic, religion, and spirituality challenged the norms of his time and continue to provoke discussion today, whether viewed as a prophet, a madman, or a master manipulator. Crowley's impact on 20th century thought and culture is undeniable. So what do you think? Was Crowley a misunderstood mystic or a madman? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. This is Crowley.